Mayor Day, can I ask Chief Henderson, just for clarification on police officers? I don't want the community as well as the council to think of this as babysitting. You know, I travel all over the country, all over the world. I frequent public parks, and I have been to several. I can count on more than one hand. Where every public park I go, city of New York, Florida, California, they're armed officers as part of the park culture. This is not to babysit grown men playing basketball courts. This is so that I can go run at dusk if I want to around that walking thing. That's so if a mother's child throws a tantrum and has to take them back to the car, she does that safely. So I want us to get into this whole culture of park and understanding of recreation and public recreation. Our officers there is not to sit there on the fence to man grown men. It's for all of our safeties, for all entities at the park, unless my understanding is incorrect, Chief Henderson.
I agree 100% with that.
So this man is not just going to sit there. He's going to make sure that every patron, I've heard people say that they walk, that they go there. Again, if you have not been in that park, reserve your judgment and give this man an opportunity to cover us. I don't want, it hurts me when I heard you say that you would not live in Jonesboro for anything. I plan to live to Jonesboro a long time. And so I want to do what I can as a council to assure that you feel comfortable if someone so desired. So we don't want that reputation. So I just want to kind of maybe, if you could clarify that for council and for any community members, so they're not thinking that we're babysitting or policing. We're just providing, this is what they do all across the country, people.
Right, it's directed patrol, yes, ma'am.
Other comments, Ms. Seba?
Yeah, just one other thing. When Deputy Chief Godfrey comes in, it's just a few more weeks, I believe. This is going to open up the opportunity for you to do what I believe is one of the things you do best, which is community policing. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do and how you move forward in the community in addressing a lot of the issues that we're having and getting involved in community policing. I think that's going to make a huge difference in the city. And I appreciate you making that effort to see that that happens. Thank you.
Yes.
Chief, I have absolutely no doubt in your ability and the ability of all the officers that work under you. Everybody knows I'm a big supporter of JPD. A question though, you said that they only found shell casings at the one on the first one, correct? But at the same time, I know you'll also admit that not all weapons discharge shells.
Absolutely. Not all weapons, and we've discussed that. We discussed that if there was a vehicle going down the street and there were shots fired, that depending on the where the shells are ejected from the weapon, they very well could fall inside the car. There are weapons that have cylinders that don't expend shells. There are other incidents where it can be gunfire and no shells located. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
What caliber was the one that found?
9mm, I think. Yes, 9mm.
Travel at over 2,000 feet per second.
I can't answer that specifically. Yes, sir. Okay.
How far would that go?
Sorry, I can't answer that question either.
9mm, I don't know how far it would go.
Yeah.
Over 1,000 yards.
Okay.
The trajectories usually go straight and up and down. The thing that I got about it is I don't want to. I like the idea of let's look in first and seeing what we can do. You know, I don't want us to reopen the park until we've got to that point. Bullets tremble on their own. When they hit stuff, it's a catastrophe. I've seen these things. I see what the gunshots can do. The first time in 16, they found shell casings on the court. Then he was shooting towards the lower parking lot down below where the health department used to be. If he had turned 15 degrees, he'd have been aiming at the playground. I really don't want to have on my conscience a bullet whether it's fired inside the court or outside the court, whether they're trying to scare somebody or trying to hurt somebody. A ricochet round can do just as much damage as a string round. You have an elementary school there, you have a playground there, you have basketball courts, you have the tennis court, and you have the schools still there. And then you also have the neighbors that live right there that like to sit out on their porch. So that's what, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. If we look before we leave.
Thank you, Mr. Lester. Anything else?
Mayor Day, one more question. I'm getting kind of confused. Do we not have a plan? Chief Henderson, did you not present us with a plan? So council, are there some things we'd like to add to that plan? Or are we saying his plan isn't sufficient? I'm kind of curious. Someone kept saying when we get a plan, I feel like he's prepared one. He gave us one. We were given it on Friday. We had a chance. So are we saying it's inadequate? Are we saying we need to do something to it? Because you all keep saying when we get a plan. Well, I think he's worked diligently with his staff, closed the investigation, and has provided for us a plan.
I think it's great to get input from everybody involved, but in the meantime, we need some kind of professional plan, which is what we've been given from somebody that knows how to stop things that are happening. None of us are trained to know how to stop anything in terms of violence. Most of us have never been exposed to it. So I think this is certainly a starting place for helping to address what's going on. And that's just my opinion, Dr. Sartor.
Okay, I was just wondering, people keep saying, let's get a plan. And I thought he had provided us one. And if it's not adequate, then I would like us to be able to give him some input on what we feel like we need to add to it. I gave my suggestion in regard to
Anybody have
parking.
anything they want to add? Ms. Messick?
I don't have anything I want to add to the plan, but I as far as the plan, I would just like to see the input of the people that are living near the park to see if they feel comfortable, if they'll feel, if with this plan implemented, if they'll feel more safe with this in place, if this answers any of their anxiety or if they have questions that go beyond this. I would just like to see them, it's because they're the most affected. They're the most affected. So I would like to see input from people that are living, right there in that area that are scared.
And also, like you mentioned earlier, you mentioned the temporary closure for a while you mentioned the temporary closure while we are still waiting to see if that cooling off period would even help. We do have a plan going forward, and we've implemented some of it already. I think I did state, upon the reopening of the park, which means whenever we decide to, the rest of the plan we'd put into effect. Even currently now, we're still patrolling the park at 5:30 to 7:30. We're still patrolling it hourly. The park is closed, so the parking issue is not a problem at the moment. We're still, like I said, we're talking to vendors, looking at making a purchase of cameras. So we still could, add to, take away. It's a living document or a living plan. And our slogan is one great community. So we want to do this together. That's the essence of community policing. All of us working together to find out, to combat the issue.